Hello everyone. Now I'm going to briefly talk about my research. So my topic is the TFL Junior students' perceptions of EMI policy. This is my table of contents. I'll focus on the purpose, significance, research questions, literature review, participants, methodology part, results findings, and finally conclusion. The purpose, the aims of the research were to identify what kind of challenges do TFL junior students encounter in EMI policy and to analyze the benefits of the EMI policy for pre-service teachers. The significance of my study was to know the merits of EMI policy for TFL junior students and moreover it showed the problems they experience because of EMI. I have developed two research questions. First of all, is what challenges do TFL junior students encounter in EMI policy? And second one, what are the benefits of the EMI policy for EFL pre-service teachers? My literature review focused on these three aspects. First of all, the concept of EMI in terms of education. I have focused on one definition that EMI is about delivering content through English in countries whose first language is not English. Next one, the benefits of EMI. There were several of them. First of all, is like the developing of cognitive skills. Like the person who knows several languages must be flexible, active, fluent, and so on. Also, the accessibility of materials. Since English is widespread all over the world, all reliable resources, materials are written in English. Therefore, a person who knows English, it's easier for him to have access to these materials. And finally, the opportunity to work in prestigious companies. It's not a secret that nowadays international companies they seek for employees who know English. Next one is the challenges of EMI. There is a lack of well-qualified teachers, lack of materials, and finally the frustration of students. Unfortunately, teachers didn't receive proper training courses. They don't know how to adjust their lesson plans, how to adjust their teaching approaches to MI policy. Also, there is a lack of materials, textbook, course books, and finally, the frustration of students. They were not able to comprehend, to understand teacher's speech, his accent, to understand the contents. They weren't able to take notes. Um, Participants. My participants were five junior students who are currently enrolled in MI facility. They were chosen from education and humanities faculty to foreign language specialty. For data collection, I used qualitative methods since I seeked for the in-depth knowledge. I wanted to know my participants' opinions, their experience, and so on. The primary tool for data collection was semi-structured interview. I prepared interview questions beforehand, and the data collected through the interviews were analyzed using thematic analysis. Results and findings. So first of all, benefit of MI policy. The first one, developing of all necessary language skills. It was interesting to know that all my participants have highlighted that they all developed their speaking skills, like their communicative skills. Also, moreover, they overcame their fear of speaking in front of other peers, in front of other people, their peers. Also, they have developed their writing skills since they had to write a lot of essays in English. They developed their reading skills since they had to read lectures, materials, academic texts in English. And finally, they had developed their listening skills since they had to watch different videos in English. They had to listen their teacher's speech and so on. Next one, awareness of what the ideal English learning classroom. Since now they have experience with EMI policy, they now know, they aware how to promote, how to integrate English fully in the classroom. Next one, awareness of effective teaching approaches. Again, now they have experience with MI policy and now they know what kind of methods are effective and what kind of methods are not effective. For example, they mentioned that grammar translation method wouldn't be so effective in order to integrate the English in the classroom. And they mentioned that direct method would be effective since like here the native language is not allowed. Everyone in the classroom has to speak in target language. And finally, next benefit is the being prepared for different unusual environments in the future. Like for some participants, it was hard to adapt in this environment and they suffered a lot, but now they aware how to act, how to behave themselves in such unusual, unknown environments. Next one, challenges. First of all, is not being able to adapt. Like they again, they couldn't adapt immediately. They suffered a lot, as I mentioned before. Next one is that they couldn't perform in front of the whole class. Like they saw how like their peers had fluent English, and they were ashamed of their English level. Therefore, they couldn't perform. They couldn't participate. That led to their low self-esteem and GPA, since again they couldn't participate in whole class discussions, they couldn't answer their teachers' questions. Next one is not being able to gain appropriate knowledge. Even though they listened their lectures, they listened attentively to their teacher's speech, they couldn't comprehend everything fully and accurately. They couldn't take note, they couldn't understand the materials. They spent more time on understanding stuff rather than practicing, rather than doing, rather than completing the task. And finally, there was a misunderstanding between teachers and students. Unfortunately, some of the teachers didn't perceive like a lack of English as a real issue. They didn't want to adjust their lesson plans for them. Like also, some participants mentioned that there was like kind of prejudice towards them. Like teachers didn't want to listen to them. They didn't give them a chance to speak. Also, they never gave them like a high score. Conclusion. I can easily say that main aims are achieved since now I know what kind of challenges did they experience, did they encounter, and what kind of benefits EMI policy has for EFL pre-service teachers. Limitations of my research, like there are two of them. First of all is small sample size. I interviewed only 5 participants among 300. Therefore, it's impossible to generalize my results to all TFL Junior students. Second one is that I used only qualitative methods because like there was possibility that I might be biased. Like I could choose information only I needed that was necessary to me, and I might neglected the other data, other information. Recommendations for further research is to give to is like larger sample size to like more people, more participants, and to use mixed methods that contains both qualitative and quantitative methods. So that is all. Thank you a lot for your attention.